What is going on, everybody? My name is Cameron and welcome back to Ultimate Spider-Man. This is issue 66 and that is what we're going to be reviewing today. So in the previous issue we saw Peter was getting very emotional over Gwen Stacy's death, not knowing whether he can continue as Spider-Man, and he's kind of just going off the tracks a little bit. We also saw a different side to Flash Thompson, figuring out that he actually liked Gwen Stacy and kind of opening up his character a little bit more. Now if you remember, towards the end of the review I did mention that Wolverine will be in the next issue, and of course as you can see on screen he's on the front cover, and I'm not necessarily going to reveal just yet how exactly he is in the comic, but let's just say we're going to see a different side of Peter Parker this issue. And before I go any further, guys, I just want to let you know that I'm going to be giving away some digital comic codes on my Twitter for Civil War issue 1, Civil War issue 0, the Amazing Spider-Man comics, and a few others. So obviously if you want a chance of grabbing those, then go to the link in the description, follow me on Twitter and look out for them. I should also probably mention, as you can see on screen right now, Brian Michael Bendis is actually talking to us as the reader, and he himself knows that this is kind of like a weak storyline, you know, like where obviously writers were 66 issues in, so he's kind of run out of ideas at this point, and this is something that is just thrown in to fill up a few issues. But now that we've got all that out of the way, guys, it's time to get into this review because I cannot wait, and neither should you. So let's get into it. Okay, so jumping into the issue, and of course we open it up at Peter's house, but I do have to tell you guys that this, what we're about to see in the next two issues, is absolutely hilarious. Like, there's no risk factor, it's all just absolute pure fun, nothing serious. Brian Michael Bendis has kind of just put this in here because it must have been an idea that he had ages ago and now he's finally got the chance to do it. And believe me, you will laugh, or at least I did anyway, so I hope you guys do. Now going into the issue, just the way it opens up, it kind of confuses the reader. Like, honestly, when I was first reading this issue and Aunt May mentioned a talk that they had last night, I was like, wait a minute, did I skip an issue? But the best part about that is exactly how Peter Parker is feeling right now. Like, obviously he seems like, he's not himself, clearly. Like, something's going on with him, and it seems like he doesn't exactly know where he is. It seems like he doesn't remember or something like that. And it's almost like you can connect with Peter as a character because you pretty much feel the exact same way. Now, turning the page and going over to Wolverine, I think you guys are about to figure out what exactly is going on. And one of the things that you pick up when you're introduced to Wolverine as a character in the Ultimate Universe, especially in this Ultimate Spider-Man series, is he's very messy. He's not exactly got any human hygiene, and he just doesn't care. And I think you can put two and two together and figure out that Peter Parker is in Wolverine's body, and Wolverine is in Peter Parker's body, and it is absolutely hilarious because Peter has no control over his claws in his hands, and it leads to many cuts and bruises. Now I think when reading this comic, one of the best things about it is you get like this relaxed feeling about it. Like, as I've already said, it's not that too serious, and that kind of pours through the pages of the comics to the reader. Something else that is absolutely hilarious is just the way Peter interacts with the characters in his house. So obviously it's Wolverine in Peter's body, and just the way he's acting around Aunt May, and Aunt May's just kind of not having it at all. And he even calls Aunt May an old lady at one point, and you can just see Aunt May like freaking out as she's walking off. It's awesome. I particularly liked how Peter Parker phoned his house and he was like, dude, what have you done? As if all of the blame just instantly goes to Wolverine, and I love how he's just so demanding to Wolverine. Like, Wolverine tries to slither out of going to school and Peter's just like, dude, you are going to school whether you like it or not. And it's just so awesome to see Peter take control of his life like that, take control of the situation, and just not taking any messing. But as you can see on screen, the craziness ensues when Peter still can't control his brand new Wolverine claws, and he actually chops his finger off, and then screams that he needs a doctor. And I thought that was amazingly funny when I was reading the comic. Just that state of panic that he entered when he actually stabbed himself, and then realizing that he can just heal. But by the way, he doesn't get used to that. Something else that I liked about the characters in the comic was that not only was Peter getting used to Wolverine's abilities, but Wolverine was also getting used to Peter Parker's abilities with the sticky hands and being Spider-Man and all of that crazy stuff. And not only that, but blending into Peter Parker's normal life, because obviously everybody knows Wolverine from the X-Men. He's got claws, he's invincible pretty much, he can heal, so he doesn't necessarily have to blend in. But Peter Parker, on the other hand, is a completely different story. I'm also very fond of how Wolverine is just taking it all in, you know, like the cheerleaders, the high school girls, Mary Jane as a really hot girlfriend, and it's just brilliant to see how he's enjoying it so much. But I think this also points out to how lucky Peter Parker doesn't realise he actually is. Like, he's got his youth, he's got Mary Jane as a girlfriend, he's got these spider powers, he's young, he can enjoy going to high school. Like, look at Wolverine. He loves every second of this, clearly. Even though he acts like he doesn't, when he's actually in the moment, he clearly does. Now, if I'm going to be honest, I think this is probably worse for Peter Parker just because he actually has responsibilities, whereas Wolverine, he pretty much does whatever he wants. Like, he doesn't have to go to school, he's not like a superhero that he chooses to be, he just does whatever he wants pretty much. Whereas Peter, on the other hand, actually has responsibilities, he lives with other people, he's got to go to school, he's got that responsibility of Spider-Man hanging over his head, and he has a girlfriend. So, if anything, this is screwing up Peter Parker's life way more than it is doing to Wolverine. And that's kind of harsh. Now, I'm not going to reveal how this actually happened, but let's just say it's not exactly fair on Peter Parker. Now, going into Wolverine's character a little bit more, I think it's incredible how he knows when Peter has chopped off one of his fingers. Like, how does he know that? Like, that must be some serious attention to detail to know that your finger has been chopped off and then grown back. Like, obviously, I don't grow back limbs, so I have no idea, but you get what I mean. I give props to Wolverine for noticing that. I also think Peter Parker is pretty brave for sending Wolverine into school, knowing that Wolverine is in his body and he could interact with anyone in there, any of his classmates. And I especially love the interaction between Wolverine and Flash Thompson in this, because it's just a little bit of a playful thing. Like, Wolverine gets flipped behind the ear and he turns around and gives the most disgusting look to Flash Thompson, as if to say, you do that again, I'm going to kill you. And Flash Thompson receives the message loud and clear. And that actually brings me on to something else. Later on, way past, like, it's like past issue 133, the Chameleon actually becomes Peter Parker, not knowing that he's Spider-Man, and ends up going to school, and he actually pins Flash Thompson up against the wall. Now, anyway, going back into the comic, we're coming up to the final few pages, and as you can see, Peter Parker has got himself into a pretty sticky situation, no pun intended, and it's almost like the roles are reversed. Like, usually it's Wolverine that I'd expect to get into a little bit of trouble in Peter Parker's body, but instead it's Peter Parker that's getting up into trouble in Wolverine's body, so we're going to have to see how that plays out. Well guys, that is the end of the issue. What did you think? Let me know in the comment section below. This was an awesome issue, and I cannot wait to review the next one. But I have been catching up recently on other comic series like the Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2099, the Civil War comics that I've just released, and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyway guys, I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10 because I found it absolutely hilarious. Like, seriously, the humor in this comic was on point. It always is, but not to this extent. Like, Peter Parker chopping his finger off, stabbing himself in the arm at the beginning of the issue and all that stuff. It's like, he's never going to learn. And it's awesome. Now guys, that is the end of this review, but remember what I told you. Follow me on Twitter, I am giving away some codes on there today. Now, I'm not going to reveal what they are because I'll reveal it when I'm giving them out on my Twitter, but just look out for them. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook as well. A new Spider-Man game is being rumoured to be revealed next week at E3, and also an Injustice 2 promo picture is leaked online as well, which I posted on my Facebook page, so go check those out. All of the links are in the description. And now guys, it's time to end the video, so if you love what you see, hit the subscribe button. If you liked this video, then hit the like button, and I'll see you all in my next video.